Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Jurassic World, starring Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Vincent D'Onofrio, Ty Simpkins, Nick Robinson, Omar Sy, B.D. Wong, and Irfan Khan, and directed by Colin Trevorrow. Now, I'm going to just say it now, guys. I'm planning on going to this new movie with the friend that I took to this movie because I didn't know he was a fan of the original movie. And he loved this one, and I'm gonna admit, I remember seeing it in theaters in the IMAX showing, IMAX 3D, let me rephrase that. And I remember it was great to see in IMAX 3D, but what do I think of it to this day? Let's get into that. We open the movie with the Velociraptor egg hatching itself open, and we move on to a family led by Karen, played by Judy Greer, who's getting a divorce and sends her two sons, Gray, played by Ty Simpkins, who I've seen in Iron Man 3, and Zach, played by Nick Robinson, whom I recently saw him and liked him in this movie. They bring her to Karen's sister, Claire, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, who I have seen in Spider-Man 3, and I have to confess this now. She freaks me out, and when I get to the M. Night Shyamalan retrospective, I'll explain why. And Claire sends her assistant, which, that's, to be honest, kind of a bad aunt thing, because she's a workaholic, and that character really annoyed me. For what little he does in this movie, B.D. Wong is a welcome presence from the original to this movie, and I like him back in this series. Lowry, played by Jake Johnson, who I've seen in this movie, and he's in New Girl, which I don't watch as much as I should. And his character, on the other hand, is annoying to me. Like, why is he in this movie? Maybe comic relief? But there's not much comedy in this movie, so honestly, I don't think I know why he's here. Masrani, played by Irfan Khan, who I've seen in these movies, is the replacement of John Hammond in this movie as far as the owner of the park goes. But I always like him, even if he wasn't in a great movie like The Amazing Spider-Man, which I reviewed last year. But I like his character. They invent the dinosaur called the Indominus Rex, which kind of a stupid name for a T-Rex ripoff. And who do they get to train it? Owen Grady, played by Chris Pratt, after reviewing him in Guardians of the Galaxy. I like him as a dinosaur trainer, and his partner, Barry, played by Omar Sy, and Owen are suspicious of their boss, Hoskins, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, who I love in the Daredevil Netflix series, but here he wants the Velociraptors to be controlled by Owen and release them to the public, which I don't like that about. The character is just okay for me. I just don't like what he does in this movie. Owen and Claire had a date before, which I do not. Which, do I need that in a Jurassic movie? Probably not. I felt they needed to cut that moment out of the film, but Owen goes to get introduced to the Indominus Rex, and that's the reason why that scene sticks there, but just not that moment of the movie. But doesn't see it until it gets out of the cage it lives in, and it gets freedom, which is a classic scary moment of the Jurassic series. And I like the intensity of that scene, I will give him that. I love the scene when the whale-looking dinosaur eats a shark. I thought that scene was pretty damn neat. It's like Shamu at SeaWorld in San Diego. When they put troops out to get the Indominus Rex back to its cage, and they get killed, and Owen says to evacuate the people out of the park, doesn't at first, Claire doesn't, and I thought, seriously, can you be even more dumb? But Claire does the right thing, which is a good sign, but I still don't like that character. I'm just going to say it right now. I like the cameo of the talk show host Jimmy Fallon. I thought that was quite clever. I liked it better when the dinosaurs were controlled by Stan Winston than the CGI crap. It was much better when it was robots than the CGI looked absolutely cartoony, even the Indominus Rex. So Gray and Zach get lost in the park, and Claire and Owen go look for them. Meanwhile, Hoskins brings an army of men, kind of like what Pete Postlethwaite did in The Lost World. Why would I dare bring up one of the bad ones? Because it sounds so similar. Just like Gray and Zach running into the old building of Jurassic Park, which, nice callback to the original. I did like that better than I did in Lost World. I'll give them that. Zach and Gray drive a Jurassic Park car, and Owen and Claire get to where Zach and Gray start the car to get back to the park, and they run into the Indominus Rex, and they follow it, which seems like a bad idea, and the Indominus Rex going to the bird cage to get the pterodactyls out of their cage. And Masroni, which I felt bad for Irfan Khan, because he was underserved here, like he was in The Amazing Spider-Man. The sequence when the pterodactyls are attacking everyone in the park, and Claire shoots one of the pterodactyls, that felt very unrealistic, because she's never used a gun before, but that was a problem straight up for me. Hoskins forces Owen to get on a motorcycle and hunt down and stop the Indominus Rex from hurting anyone else. With the Velociraptors, and the Rex turns against them for now, and people question how could Owen not get killed by the Velociraptors. Well, they trust him, and I like that moment of the movie. And let me just say it now. The Indominus Rex is part raptor. Like I think he speaks raptor, and apparently he decides to make the Velociraptors turn against Owen. So B.D. Wong's character is working with Hoskins, and they had some sort of deal so Hoskins gets to shoot the Indominus Rex dead, and he gets eaten by a Velociraptor, and they gain up on Owen, Claire, Gray, and Zach before the Indominus Rex comes in, and Owen takes off the bracelet that they put on Blue, one of the Velociraptors, let me say. That way they know they're free and fight the Indominus Rex, and Claire releases a Tyrannosaurus Rex to fight the Indominus Rex. And that's a very good fight between dinosaurs until the Velociraptors distract them, and the whale-looking dinosaur eats the Indominus Rex underwater. And I swear that's a good fight between the Indominus Rex, the Velociraptors, and the T-Rex. The movie ends with what's next after the incidents of this movie, and the T-Rex roars like the MGM lion, as my father pointed out to me after seeing this movie another time in the theater. And I like that Owen, Claire, Gray, and Zach are still alive by the end of this movie, but that was just an unsatisfying ending, in my opinion. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 7.2 out of 10. There is problems with this movie, and I pointed them out, but this is a much better sequel than Lost World and Jurassic 3, but not as good as the original. But there are also things I like in this movie, so I'm going to give it the rating that I'm giving. And I'm going to go into this new movie with an open mind, even though I've heard bad things from Rotten Tomatoes, sure. But I'm going to just go in with an open mind and see how much they will honor the last movie plus the first one. And they have Jeff Goldblum in this movie. I am going to confess that now. I'm looking forward to it. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And until next time, when you gotta go, you gotta go.